a big part of my legacy, or who I was and what made me different, also was the medical. Big part of it was setting up a triage city in Japan, and as well as Germany. Also lawyers as well, creating lawyers or law schools, to train lawyers how to practice proper law and all that other stuff. But also creating what's called medical. Like I say, Germany had plastic surgery, it had medical, and helping people, of course, that were burned by fire, or also like firefighters, and also people who had sustained damage during war or just by industrial accidents, as well as also providing them with food and other things. Also proper limb amputation and other things, and also dealing with things like gangrene and frostbite and all diseases, and also by trying to eliminate all parasites that would live on the human body, as well as things like scabies and other things like Ebola and other stuff. That was a big part of Lusifer Star, and who I was and what I was seeking out, proper limb healing, also resetting limbs, stuff like that, and also dealing with injuries from war or any kind of like gun attacks and all that other stuff. Trying to save people, also things like the defibrillator, CPR, stuff like that. Anyway, that was a big part of what Lucifer Star, me, basically Germany and medicine, and also getting pills and medication, as well as finding better ways to use cocaine and also other drugs like morphine and everything else like that, which is very important for medical. Like I said, alcohol only goes so far, and also using alcohol for things like medicine and other things like that to disinfect wounds and other stuff, and also finding better disinfectants like hydrogen peroxide and other things like that, and manufacturing that. Later on, we'd use it for rockets and stuff like that, but also it was a very good thing for killing bacteria as well. And also bleach and soap, and of course. Bleach was also a very big part of Lucifer White Star, and creating it and getting it manufactured and all that other stuff. It was not for a weapon of war, it was for just like sanitation and other things. We used to use steam in the old days, but bleach also works very well for killing germs. Anyway, that was a big part, and also like I say, healing the sick, taking care of the old was a huge part of my legacy and why I did so well, because I always cared about old people and feeding them and taking care of them, and also dealing with people like coma patients and other people that were blind even. Like I said, the first Braille books, stuff like that. That was me, Brian Briley, or Lucifer Star, basically. Who I am, President of America, and also President of Germany, leader of Germany and America, were my two main ones. Although I did do some stuff in Russia and China as well, and Japan. And I had certain sites like Hong Kong, Singapore, investing time and effort and money into providing adequate services like sewers and other things like that. Also recombining, making use of human waste, like sewage and stuff like that. The first project, I believe, was in Germany or Britain or somewhere else like that. And later on, we were lighting the city at night with the methane from the sewage. Anyway, there's lots of projects. Anyway, what made me, like I said, it's Bryantown, not Britain, or Brighton. Although we did have the first lights there, one street of gas-powered lights and one street of DC-powered lights or something like that, or light bulbs, basically tantalum light bulbs, which could last technically forever or something like that. So anyway, it's all very complicated. Later on, finding a better filament that was cheaper to manufacture, that would last, was a very big part of who I was and what I was, and science and technology and computers and lasers and all that other stuff, and even LED lights and stuff like that, trying to create a better, more efficient light source. Although that would be more investing in people furthering what we had done already. Mostly steam and like farm tractors, traction engines, and using traction engines to farm with, because a lot of the times the traction engines would get stuck, so using a sideways cable to pull some sort of thing back and forth across a field. A rope or a cable or something like that would work very well. Anyway, and then later on, tractors and farm equipment and everything else like that was basically me, Lusifer Star, the leader of Germany and Britain. Also, things like the HMS Rodney, which there were 3 of them that were so named, or something like that. And just even things like applying mass production to things like McDonald's and fast food, and somewhat with the roller skates and other things. Mass-produced shoes and clothing with colors. Also clothing that could breathe and wasn't so hairy. The first polyester clothes, which we gave out free as samples to people, to I believe people in orphanages. And orphanages raised money to be able to buy clothes and pay for the clothing that they wore. And also as a benefit, I wanted free clothes to be given to children. And so to take the pressure off the parents so they didn't have to work so hard, because clothing was very much inexpensive and fairly cheap for me. So providing low cost or nearly free cost to children so they could have clothes, because also things like the secondhand store and stuff like that, making clothes last longer. Anyway, all that stuff was a very big part of it. Even blue jeans. Oops, my flies down. Anyway, blue jeans and stuff like that. And I have a belly. Yes, I am Lusifer Star, so inventor of mostly water wheels, grinding wheels, stuff like that to make better wheat and all that. And my video is getting too long, so I gotta cut it short.